Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, just hit the like button and comment or subscribe. Or maybe wait, don't do that yet. Don't do that yet. It's been a long time coming. It's been about, I would say like 3, maybe like 4 months since I ended up doing like YouTube. And don't get me wrong, I was doing it for quite some time, but then I ended up stopping because I had like a lot going on and I just didn't feel like recording anymore. And I felt like it was just really pointless at certain times to record. I felt myself like fucking cleaning bags on YouTube, like just figuring out things to do, and I was just like, this is not good. This is not something that I'm gonna end up liking if I'm making this into like a project every single time I decide to put the camera on. So since I've been away, I ended up getting a opportunity as a family nurse practitioner, and it's completely insane to me that I ended up going from, like, you know, nurse. I was a medical scribe at first, then became a nurse, did a lot of travel nursing because you guys know COVID and everything. We were making like bank for real. And then I decided to go ahead and get my master's as a NP. I'm super excited about it. I feel like a complete boss. Like, it's completely insane. I just recently took a job in a primary care setting. I am super excited and happy about that. I was going back and forth whether or not to document this journey, and I was like talking to my sister, and my sister was saying like, hey, you should definitely document this. There's probably people out there that need some type of guidance, or that want some, that want some type of assistance in this career. So I was like, you know what, why not just document this? I do plan on doing like an every 2-week, you know, touch base, or like coming on here just to tell you guys how I'm doing in real time. I think that's really good than just to like reflect and say, hey, I quit, you know. Overall, I really like this opportunity. It's only been 2 weeks since I've been in a primary care setting, and I absolutely love it, y'all. It's completely insane because I didn't think that I would gravitate towards something like this. It kind of came by chance. So I graduated. This is a huge ass this hill is crazy. I graduated from MP school back in June of last year, y'all. Not even this year. I graduated June of last year, and it took me 2 times to pass the test. And I finally passed the test, and I was dead set on doing urgent care, like the urgent care setting, because I had an urgent care background. And I was like, oh, this might be a lot more beneficial for me, because I didn't feel confident, you know, or competent even enough to do something like primary care, because that's really broad, right? You have to know every little thing, because so I thought you had to know every little thing, and I wasn't really confident to actually treat every little thing, especially like mental health and things of that sort. It's like, it's a lot. So I felt like I would do better in an urgent care setting. So I had 2 interviews in an urgent care setting, and this is how I know that God really takes his time with each and every one of our stories. He orchestrates our life in a way where we may not think that this is the right opportunity, but he'll set it up where, hey, this is what you're going to do. And for me, that's similar to what happened. I literally got 2 opportunities in an urgent care setting, and hold on 1 second. I got 2 opportunities in an urgent care setting, 2 interviews, and I normally do extremely well on interviews. It's not a time where I did not go into an interview and motherfucking kill that shit, you know. And I literally didn't do well on these 2 interviews. And a recruiter had reached out to me and said like, hey, we're opening up quite a few facilities, but it's a primary care setting. Would you like to do an interview for that? And I was like, fuck it. I was feeling defeated anyway. It took me a long time. They told me that I didn't get the opportunity. Another person ghosted me. It was really weird and very unprofessional, if you ask me. But I ended up doing the primary care interview, and this interview was so free-flowing. It was like the easiest interview. It wasn't even an interview. We had a conversation, and that was the end of that. By the time I got off the phone, I got offered the job. It was so smooth and so easy. Now, during this time, I was still looking and applying for more urgent care jobs. So I took a little while to reach back to the recruiter for, to sign the contract. And then he hit me back and was like, hey, is there a reason why you haven't reached back out? Is there a salary problem? We can always raise the salary. And then that's when I knew right away, even though I am a new grad, it was still a situation where I still had bargaining power, and I was still able to negotiate as a new grad. And I want, if you're not going to listen to anything else, listen to this. If you are not okay with the salary, if you are not okay with the PTO, if you are not okay with the with the patients that you have to see, make sure you say that right away before you sign the contract. So for me specifically, I got a higher raise in the salary, and instead of doing just a few weeks for PTO, I'm someone who likes to take a lot of vacations. I asked for more. All right, another thing is leverage. Leverage is a really big one. I noticed that now that I'm working with some of these nurse practitioners, they are letting me know that that they only had a certain amount of weeks off from work and things of that sort. So always make sure you're able to negotiate your contract before signing it. And it's okay to negotiate as a new grad, because again, they want you, right? And they don't know how many opportunities you have. They just know that they're opening up a bunch of facilities that they want providers in to run them. So at the end of the day, it's pretty much the ball is literally in your court. For me, I signed a year contract, so I plan on staying here for a year, but I do want to transfer to another location, more lively, more just up my speed. Ended up either just doing a year and leaving, or doing less than a year and just completely quitting. I don't know why, but I just overheard people just talk about it, and it's completely insane. And I think that's mainly because of the guidance that they have and who you pair that individual with, and it can be overwhelming. I've noticed that a lot of PAs said that this type of opportunity is really overwhelming for them, and I can understand why. Initially, one thing I think that I benefited a lot from, and I'm gonna say this right away, if you are getting into any type of nursing, and you want to be an MP, or if you want to be a PA and you're going to be a PA or a doctor even, I think it's really beneficial, and I don't know if it's still around, is to be a medical scribe. Being a medical scribe literally sets the foundation for you, because a lot of individuals and providers are using ECW, e-clinical work system. And back in the day, I used to work as a medical scribe in an urgent care setting out in New York City. If you guys know, it's City MD. I used to work there for quite some time, and what we used to do is literally set the charts up, close the charts for the provider, and all of hit done for the chart, and then the only thing that the provider had to do was lock the chart after reviewing everything that we said. We wrote everything. So I was pretty much hip to this ECW system. When he was like, oh, we use ECW, I was like, oh, that's perfect. It took, I was a little bit rough because I forgot about it, but then as I kept using it, I was like, oh, I remember this. The only thing that's different from a medical scribe to a provider setting is that we are now setting up templates templates for ourselves. So I've never had to set up a template. These templates were already built in because the providers already set them up. Now I'm a provider setting up templates. So it's like a little bit different in that regard. But as far as the full ECW system, it is so like easy to me. So all I have to do really is talk to the patient. And now what they have, which I feel so bad, they have AI scribing within the ECW system. So I guess they're gonna get away from medical scribes, which kind of sucks because I felt like that was a lot of good hands-on experience prior to becoming a provider. But they're gonna get away from medical scribing, and they have a AI scribe within the ECW system. And I feel like it's amazing. A lot of people use either Deep Scribe or I think it's called Sunu Scribe. I prefer Sunu Scribe. If you guys have an ECW system and it's up to date, you might see that Sunu AI option at I think it's at the right bottom of the screen. I suggest that you use that. It's very helpful. You do not have to type a fucking thing, y'all. Like, it's hardly nothing for you to type. If you say you want to order orders and you are clear of what order you want to actually order, it's gonna plug it in from the order set. It's gonna attach it to a diagnosis. It's completely amazing, y'all. Like, all you have to do is hit the check mark to merge it into the chart. That's how good it is. I prefer Sunu Scribe over Deep Scribe only because and I'm sorry if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but I prefer Sunu Scribe over Deep Scribe because Sunu Scribe is already within the computer system. So it's gonna attach those orders, it's gonna attach those referrals for you and things of that sort. However, with Deep Scribe, it's like an outsourced third-party type of system. So you're not going to get those orders. You're going to get the full documentation. And sometimes you might get the assessment as well if you say it out loud. But that's pretty much it. It's pretty limited. But I feel like Sunu is not as limited. Like, I feel like you get like the full-on experience with that AI system. So that's why I prefer that over Deep Scribe. A lot of people prefer Deep Scribe over Sunu. But I guess I'm just like that individual that doesn't. So that's a good thing. If there are like more like medical scribe jobs out there, I do suggest that you jump on it and try to get as much experience as you can. And it's pretty good because when you get like a rapport with the doctor, you're able to get reviews and things of that sort. Not reviews, sorry, letters of recommendations from that provider that you are essentially working with. I feel like I said a lot. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is just like precepting. I feel like this is going to be like really short and sweet, and I hate that because I've filmed something else and I've said so much. I have to like go back and see what I said in order to make sure I let you guys know every little thing. But another thing I would probably say to you guys is as far as precepting, I do absolutely look forward to being a preceptor. I want to be one of those NPs that understand what people are going through and not feel like everything is just like cutthroat, because it's not. I'm just in primary care. And the thing about primary care is, yes, we manage all conditions, and that was something that I was fucking definitely afraid of, but it's okay because we manage these conditions. If we're treating something, right, that's out of our scope essentially, right, so that's mostly every specialty that we are not privy to, right? And even if we are and we have a lot of knowledge and we're treating and things are not working, we're still going to refer out, if you guys get that part. So it's not that deep, right? So like, say if we're managing an individual's I don't want to say diabetes, because typically in a primary care setting we can treat and manage diabetes, and we have like a lot of resources. But say it just, right, like it's not that deep, it is okay. It is okay. If you have some basic sense coming out of school, you will be perfectly fine. I feel like no individual should be overwhelmed. You should not feel like you're making a mistake. If you are referring out, how are you making a mistake? How are you making a mistake? You know, and then there's so many resources that are provided to you. My company specifically provides us with up-to-date, so we will always have resources available if we don't know. Say like patient is allergic to penicillin, you're not sure if you should prescribe the Z-Pak, you need to do some research to figure out if a Z-Pak is covered for like a certain infection that they're having or what have you. Or, you know, like for men, sometimes Macrobid works for women, but like Keflex or like a sulfa drug can work for a man. Or augmentin can work for a man for a UTI. Like, you know, certain things like that. Like, you just, if you need that guidance, there are always resources for you. And the point is to find those resources. Now, one thing I would say about a mom and pop versus a, the only thing I would say, honestly, about a mom and pop versus a corporation, like a big business chain of like different primary care facilities, is that you just won't have the resources. Like, they probably can't give everyone up to date, or they probably can't cover you for your CME hours or what have you. And then you know, just encourage testing. Another thing that we have to encourage in our primary care setting is follow-up visits. A lot of individuals get like slip through the tracks, and I think that a lot of doctors figured that, like, hey, if you let the patient know yourself that they have to come back in 3 months, nine times out of 10 they're going to come back in 3 months and not come back in 2 years when they just had a heart attack, it just came from the ER, or, you know, they've been in and out of the emergency room instead of like coming to us to get whatever they need managed. So one thing we have to do, absolutely have to do, is put follow-ups in every patient's chart. You cannot close a chart if you don't put a follow-up in that person's chart. So they get us in the habit of telling the patient when they should come back. And I feel like that's good, because patients don't slip through the tracks, and then you're likely to catch something in the primary care setting, especially with all the tests that we're able to do in real time. We're able to like catch certain things faster than, like, say if they go to the ER and then have like an incidental finding or some sort. So I think that's really good benefit for having like these resources to actually be able to treat the patient. What else? I think that's about it. I think the provider that I worked with made a huge difference in this journey. Even though it's been about 2 weeks, it's about to be 3 weeks. These 2 weeks have been amazing with her, and I feel like I feel more encouraged to learn more, because I feel like at the end of the day, we are all students at life. We're not going to know every little thing, and it's nice when you like kind of get stuck and you have to go in and do the research to figure out what, you know, this patient may need. I think that's always so beneficial, and it's just been a journey just to be in like the primary care setting, even though I didn't. All right, and then the last thing that I'm gonna let you guys know, and then I'll let you go. And then just let me know if you guys have any questions at all. I can always come back, do another, you know, chit chat with you guys. I do plan on doing this every 2 weeks, just to let you guys know how I'm feeling in real time. I think that's very much important. I'm a type of person who, if I'm signing a contract, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna like, I'm gonna work the entire contract. Even if I don't like it, I'm gonna work the entire year. But at least you guys would know like whether or not I like it or not. Because I'm gonna say it. I'm definitely gonna say it. So that's good. But I do have plans on just working this entire year and not like quitting or anything. But another thing that I would say, I don't even know what I was about to say. Oh, another thing that I would say that is going to be extremely beneficial is for you guys to set boundaries. It's a little bit different. Like us being a nurse, when we were a nurse in like the bedside setting, we had CNAs and we were able to delegate tasks. So we know how to do those things. We know how to work well with our CNAs, and we know that if our CNAs are happy, our lives will be a lot better. So with us now, we work with MAs. So we like hand in hand with MAs. So our MAs will probably prep the charts for us and ask all the important questions for us to go in for pretty much success. This company You get bonuses based off of the amount of tests that you do for certain patients. And these patients, of course, have to have like, chronic conditions. Like they have to be smokers, they have to have asthma, they have to be obese, and certain, things of the sort, or like at risk for certain things. So, the tests are warranted, but you get a bonus every single time you actually perform these tests. And the MAs typically do those tests. We do have like ultrasound techs that do like the echoes, the carotid exams, and things of that sort. They'll do that, but essentially the MAs would do the PFTs, they'll do the RMRs and things of that sort. So like you have to have a really good rapport with your MA, because if you don't, then you won't have a bonus, because this MA don't want to do anything. You want them to actually do something. I'm not sure if they get a bonus as well. It would be nice if they do, because that would give them a lot more encouragement to actually do it. But I know for us, we get like a really good bonus if we actually perform these tests on a certain number of patients every day, or what have you. But what I was going to say is make sure you set boundaries from the front end of the staff, right? Because the front end is who's making the schedule for us in the back. And I think that it's important for you to have like a really good balance initially. I know that some of the PAs who, are pretty much, you know what, let me not even say that, but some of the PAs are like complaining because their schedule is like a whole bunch of like AWV, like annual wellness visits, annual wellness visits, like back to back. And annual wellness visits can take up a lot of time, and especially new patients. They'll get like a bunch of new patients, and that takes up time, because 9 times out of 10, if a new patient is coming in, they're coming for like an issue as well as establishing care. They want answers, and they want you to sit down and listen to them and talk to them. And it's hard to do that when you are in a schedule where like you have other things that you need to delegate and do, but you can't if you're stuck in the room. So she, like, a lot of the PAs were upset that they have like back to back of the same type of patient, and is like, setting a day up for failure. Number one, they're not able to do too many tests. And on top of that, like, they're having to like document and talk to these patients longer than just in and out, right? So I think it's important for you to say like, hey, on Fridays, I'm only going to take 15 patients, because our Fridays are short days. They're 8 to 2. Fridays, I'm taking 15 patients. Throughout the week, I can take about 20 to 21 patients, because that's essentially what we need to do. 20 to 23, I would say, patients. And it has to be, it has to fluctuate. You cannot have so many new patients in one like time period. Like, that's just not gonna work. You have to spread them out. You have to like do different patients, so that when you're in and out in some rooms you're staying in longer, some rooms you're providing tests for these patients, because when you provide these tests, you have to go back in, tell them about the test, like tell them how they did on the test, and things of that sort. So like some patients are harder than others, so I think it's always good to lay out boundaries at the front desk, just to let them know like, hey, this is what I'm not gonna tolerate at all. So, and then that will set you up for success, essentially, because your schedule would be more manageable, and it will probably make the MA feel a lot better as well. They're not like just running around with their heads chopped off. But yeah, it's a little bit, it's different in the same. I feel like with nurses, it in a primary care setting, it actually sets us up for success, because we're used to delegating tasks. We're used to doing all of those things in an actual inpatient setting. So when you're in a primary setting, like, this is just the same thing, working with an MA. For PAs, I've heard that it's a bit challenging. I know a PA that I started out with, she says she's a bit flustered with the ECW system, and on top of that, trying to like take care of a patient. She'll get used to it, of course, because with that AI system, if you use the AI, it works. And I feel like it's really nice, because you're able to talk to the patient like forward facing, and then everything that you say to that patient will be already in the chart, ready for you. So I think that's also really cool and beneficial. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you can always just hit me up. I can do like a I can show you guys on my computer where I see like that AI system where I can hit select, and whatever I say to the patient gets merged into the chart if you hit select, and if you want it to be merged into the chart. So I think that that's beneficial. If you guys have any other questions, just let me know. And I think that's pretty much it. That's all I really wanted to say. I'm going to go inside Target and get some like shampoo and conditioner. And the only reason why I'm going into Target is because they only have a Target. They don't have like a, they don't have anything. They don't have like a Sephora. They have like a little small Sephora, but it's not like with like shampoo and conditioners, like with a couple of like lip glosses. They hardly have anything here. That's why I'm going into Target. But all right, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys felt this helpful. I feel like I spoke for a very long time, and yeah, that's it.